Welcome back. Still on the lifestyle segment of the weekend show. We just had a conversation about education, and that's something which we are really passionate about. Besides the free lunch, we will be talking about the Brain Champions Trivia.
Yeah. So joining us, we have Tenda Chimalu, who is the Brains Champions TV producer, and we also have Samuel Philip, who is the Brains Champions TV director. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Auntie. Good morning, Didi.
It's good to have you on this side of the table.
Right? It feels very awkward.
So you had this conversation with me about 6 months ago, close to a year ago, saying you had this baby, well, not if it's called baby, but the Brain Champions Trivia. What's this about?
Well, The Brain Champions is an educational TV show that focuses on high achieving students, gathers high achieving students from all across the country to battle in a series of academic challenges, questionnaires, in order to win consolation prizes, cash prizes, school grants, electronic gadgets, and the grand prize of a one-year scholarship. So it's actually in the making already. We had our auditions through the month of February, where we went to several schools across the federal capital. We had auditions with very brilliant students, the best of the best from each school, and we have about a dozen schools competing on Tuesday, which is 25th of March, in 3 days' time. That's the qualifiers round. So we're picking 4 schools from the qualifiers round to go for the finals in order to win the one-year scholarship grand prize. So I'm glad we had this conversation with Malal Foundation before now, because it's almost the same thing, right? We're focusing on education, bringing role models, for young students, teenagers, young adults to look up to, Actually, in Nigeria, there's no very popular educational show. If you think about it, I'm sure if I ask you, name 3 top educational shows in Nigeria, and I'm sure you go, and there will be crickets. So it's a show that is created to create role models for students, young adults, and teenagers. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
Did you ever go for any competition for your school? I remember Cowbell and I think Pick
Yeah.
Milk. They had one for mathematics
Yeah.
and something else. And it was really nice watching them on TV. Did
It
you
was.
participate in any of those external competitions for your school?
I did actually.
I didn't participate in any, not even match pass. I wasn't selected to match. Well, let's talk to you, director.
Samuel, what inspired the creation of the Brains Challenge show?
Okay, I think it is more like where we are right now. We're in a generation where 90% of what we consume comes from the internet, which has less regulation. So this show will not only help us with the students, but also the parents can watch and see how well their children are performing in school, based on this competition. And if that school is right, it's also one way to look at it, because I didn't know that there's a lot of problems around our educational system until we went out for this audition, and I'm like, I think it's a good one. People will see a lot. We'll be able to see bright students. I'll also be able to see some of the challenges that the students are facing in their.
It's interesting that you say for the parents, and this is also very intentional. And well done to both of you, because we can't really dictate what we say on the internet, but as professionals and practitioners, it's up to us to create the right content which we want people to see. I'm on TV today, but I remember watching Virginia Abu on NTA, Cyril Stober, and those names rang in your head. And it's the same thing you're trying to do for children, to see people, for it to be aspirational, and also incentives to do better. But this isn't without its challenges. How has that process been, and what have your challenges been, even trying to get this to come to fruition, Tenda?
Well, number one up there, of course, is finance. You need money to do whatever, anything you want to do. You really need money. You need investors and all of that. But during the course of the show, there's been a lot of encouragement in terms of brands, reaching out to, they're interested in what we're doing. Even before the show started, we just had just 1 or 2 brands that were trying to support financially and all of that. But during the course, even in the middle of the auditions, we had a company reach out to actually curate a whole new segment in the competition or business pitch, where the students get to pitch a business idea to a panel of judges sponsored by representatives from Shell Nigeria. So I'm glad that we're beginning to get a little bit of visibility. I'm sure when the show kicks on air, we're going to get more visibility. But first up there is funding. And then secondly, around, I think is, should I call it lack of motivation or discouragement? Because a few schools did drop out during the course of the audition. Some felt, oh, our students didn't perform so well. Some took a look at the other schools that are going to be competing and they're like, no, I don't think we're up to par with these people. So that's another challenge we had. So we had to move around, rearranging the sets and all of that. So apart from funding and the motivation factor, I think that we're getting more, we're getting better results than we expected. Yes.
Samuel, Tender earlier said you've been holding auditions across, and I would like to know what criteria have you been using to select participants? What makes a brain champion, basically?
Okay, it's one of them is performance in various areas of course work like sciences, English, arts, literature, and there are sample questions which were used to, and they were not different from our schools. They were just one set of it, and we used it generally. And yeah, those were, in as much as they were basic, they were also a little bit challenging, and we were able to fish out the brightest students. In fact, some of them amazed us, and it was interesting to work with them.
Sorry to cut in. Another reason why we decided to hold these auditions in the schools instead of allowing the schools present their students to us is to eliminate the parts of favoritism and to make sure the students are being representing themselves based on their own personal performances instead of the cases where the teachers are bringing their favorite students, their children, and all of that to compete. So there are 4 segments in the competition. There's the Brain Champions Trivia, where we ask general knowledge, current affairs, history, and general questions. Then there's the Spelling Bee, and then there's the Brainstormer, where there's science and math calculations. It's a lot. It's very interesting, very educational, I promise you. And then there's the Business Pitch segment, sponsored by Shell Nigeria, where they get to pitch their business ideas to the panel of judges.
For what it's worth, I will be there on Tuesday for the qualifying rounds. I want to say well done to both of you.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the images on TV, and we'll also share more as time comes on. So watch out, it's coming on TV, on the station very soon. How can people reach you if they want to support or participate?
BrainChampionsTV@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram page @BrainChampionsTV.
Okay.
Thank you
Very
much, and
much.
all the best with it. We'll take a
Yes.
quick break. When we return, Lucy will be having a conversation with Chef Patient, and also we'll be talking about the River State crisis with our guest on the political segment. We still have social media, entertainment, sports, and a lot more for you within the next couple of minutes. See you shortly.